No, it just got that.
No.
Oh, hey, welcome to the live stream. This is, we're just putting the final touches on the technical details before we get going with the audio recording of The Topic is Trek. So thank you for joining us. We do this every fortnight on a Thursday, and you happen to be in the fort tonight.
At night. Yes, there we go. Or if it could be day where you're watching from. I can't tell.
Is it the kind of fort where we put the pillows around the couch and blankets and stuff?
It is a blanket fort, exactly.
Over the card table. Yep, the whole thing. So we are about to record show number 115. You know, we've been at this for almost 5 years now.
Well, our mission is almost over.
Yes, exactly.
It's 5-year mission. Too boldly. Oh boy!
Every time we think we're done, they pull out another Star Trek series, and it's just back in again.
Yeah. Keep going. All right.
We're almost
great.
there.
Now Kim starts texting me right when we get ready to start. Hold on a second.
Put it on Do Not Disturb. I have
no,
a
it's my
family
wife.
Texting. Right now, my family was texting also. Your matters do not concern me while I am in the Star Trek universe. Okay. Uh-oh, Craig's responding.
I have to. There's no internet where she's going, so I have to. All right. Okay.
Wait, there's no internet. Then normal text messages don't require the internet.
She's on her way to the mountain house. There is no internet when she gets there, so I need to reply now.
I thought you.
Is there no cell signal also?
No, nothing. That's why I've been desperate to get the internet up there.
Did you get the Starlink thing, or you trying to get
you didn't listen to the last Technorama?
No, I've been a little busy.
Yes, and I went through the whole process to install it. When I routed the cable all the way outside, it has the connector built onto it, so when I get up there, I had everything mounted, ready to go, and I went to plug the cable into the connector, or the connector into the dish. The connector was bumped or something and bent.
Oh no,
so it wouldn't fit.
Oh,
so I knew cable's coming, and I'm taking it up there tomorrow.
So your cable or their device was
cable.
No, the dish itself, has a connector. It's just looks like a low HDMI connector. But I'm supposed to plug it in the bottom of the dish. Yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway, the connector, as I was routing the cable on the connector on the cable, was bent, and it wouldn't fit into the dish.
I thought you were gonna say, and I pulled a Doc Brown. I got up there, and it just went. It needs to be another 6 inches.
It's probably not too far off. So in anticipation, I had already ordered a longer cable, and it just so happens it's coming. It'll be here tomorrow, so it's perfect timing. So anyway, yes, that's why I'm desperate to get internet up there. I have nothing. No cell service. I can't make a phone call.
It's nobody's forcing you to go there, Craig. I don't have any internet at my mountain house. It's the end of the world.
Because I can't make a call or anything.
I say smoke signals are always an option.
Yeah,
tie a little piece of paper.
It's a little
to
bit
the
of a
bird's leg.
safety issue, Chuck, because I can't call anybody or talk to anybody or
carrier pigeons.
Yeah, I might use balloons.
There you go.
Tie a little message to the bird's leg and send him off. You put a message in a bottle and you send it down the creek.
Yeah. See, now I can. Once I get it set up, I'll be able to stream Star Trek there all the time and just stay there. So there you
go. Make his own little bridge. There we go.
All right, let's record the Clinton's in a bit of a hurry to record this. So let us begin in 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is The Topic is Trek, episode 115 for Friday, May 20th, 2022. It's a lot of 20s in there. Coming up in this episode, Strange New Worlds is popular. We roll into a new Star Trek Online campaign. Vulcan, Alberta, Canada. All that and more right now on The Topic is Trek. Una, Odu, Kang and Kes. Morn and Lore and the rest. Welcome to The Topic is Trek, the podcast that runs on impulse power. Join us for a journey where no show has gone before. If it has to do with Star Trek, there's a good chance we'll talk about it sooner or later, because on this show, the topic is Trek. Engage already. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another thrill-packed episode of The Topic is Trek. I am Clinton, one of your co-hosts, and as I always say, to be a co-host, you have to have other hosts. So, beaming in to join me from parts unknown with a new hip catchphrase that I'm sure everyone will be talking about tomorrow is Mr. Craig Stepp.
Howdy ho! I think I used that one time.
You have.
Oh well, I failed.
Oh, he's in a rerun mode right now. We gotta have to reboot him.
Reboot.
His catchphrases are in syndication now.
Yeah.
It gets residuals, so that's good. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh well.
And also joining us is Mr. Chuck Tomasi.
How's everybody doing?
Just wonderful on this this Trek evening. Enjoyed an episode of Trek today and get to talk about Trek tonight. So
I forgot to put the transporters in gear. Never mind.
Oh, you're no Hemmer, sir.
No Kyle either.
Yeah.
It's Hammer time.
Hammer time.
and the show artwork is set. There we go.
Right. Go look for that thumbnail.
And then Dorian in the big pants.
Hammer pants.
Wow, we derailed this show in the first minute.
Wow. Well, it's still talking about Trek and so forth, but we're going to get right to our news stories because we have a lot to cover in this episode because we have 2 new episodes of Strange New Worlds. But first, it's time for me to say, hey, Charlie, we're going to do some subspace chatter.
Oh, no, we're not.
You don't need all that subspace chatter.
We were talking in the pre-show about the fact that your days may be numbered, Charlie. So you better be nice to us because we might have alternatives real soon.
Send him off for some sensitivity training.
Indeed. He'll just make the instructors disappear.
I don't like this.
He's just gone. Doesn't work. All right. Well, let's start our news. And I will begin us. I will begin us. That's really good English. Okay. Thanks to the recommendation of friend of the show, Larry Nemechek, we've been keeping an eye on the site Parrot Analytics. You know, Larry has trouble with a different word in this sentence, but mine was analytics.
Right.
Which
You should begin us again.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be like Larry, just keep on going, which uses algorithms to kind of reverse engineer statistics about streaming services. In the most recent period measured by Parrot, and that's the company Parrot Analytics, not the actual bird, a parrot, the 3rd highest ranked show across all services was Star Trek Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus, following behind only Stranger Things on Netflix and Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. That also makes it the #1 new series streaming. How about that?
Yeah.
Now, these are early days, to be sure, as this period really only covers the series premiere, but we'll try to keep you informed as the season goes along. By the way, Star Trek Picard ranked as number 6, right behind HBO's Our Flags Mean Death and Marvel's Moon Knight on Disney Plus.
I love that Our Flag Means Death. Have you seen it? Have you guys seen it?
Have not seen it. Apparently, it's got some connection to events these days. I don't know. I was kind of confused by the premise of the show, but
Events these days.
I don't know. It's an algorithm. See, I'm now doing the whole Larry thing.
I'm guessing that's Larry's trouble word.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't had a chance to see that one. But I thought it was interesting because You have Disney Plus has 2 shows in this top 6. Paramount Plus has 2 shows in this top 6. And you would think Netflix then would be the logical other choice, but it's not. Netflix and HBO both have 1. So really, when you think about it, this may more explaining about why Netflix is kind of losing its mojo here. They just
well, they still got a lot of content to put out this year, so I don't know. They're losing their mojo, but
we'll see.
Hey, by the way, if you haven't seen Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, and if you haven't, why not? You can go. They had the premiere episode posted up on YouTube, so you can go watch it on the Paramount Plus YouTube channel.
Yeah, I didn't check to see if they were extending it. I think it was going to only go through the 15th.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't catch that part. Okay,
but it's worth a check because they may have just decided to let that run a bit longer.
Yeah.
All right, Craig, you got the next story?
All right. So last year, toy maker Super 7 launched its first wave of Star Trek: The Next Generation 3 and 3/34 figures, including Picard.
It's 3 3/4 inches.
I'm sorry, 3 3/4. What am I saying?
That might be
figures.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, including that's how we measure things in the future. Including Picard, Data, Worf, Guinan, Wesley, and pre-Borgatti Borg drone. Now, Super 7 has released a new set of 6 more TNG figures, including Counselor Troy, a bearded Commander Riker. It's a lot more plastic. The Dr. Crusher, Lieutenant Commander LaForge, Inquisitor attire, Q, and Armus.
Armus?
It's pliable. You may have. We have to admit we didn't see that one coming for sure. But then again, neither did Tasha Yar. Being under 4 inches tall, don't expect too much in the way of facial details. In fact, we think that Dr. Crusher figure could easily work itself into a creepy horror movie, and I totally agree. Super 7 also gave some good news about a next batch of figures, which will include elementary Dear Data and Geordi and a Victorian Worf and Picard. Each figure comes with a very tiny accessories, and it retails for about $17.99.
I am not a married man.
Yeah. We have non-affiliate links in the and link to the page where you can order these figures. Just head to the show notes for episode 115 over at the topicustrek.com.
Yeah, so I don't know if you had a chance to look at them, but I posted, at least for us, a picture of the Beverly. It's a very close up, and she looks kind of cross-eyed, actually, even in this.
Her right hand has the kung fu. Her right hand has kung fu grip.
Right. So that's when I started to say, well, they must come with accessories. And if you look at the packaging, you can see a little medical tricorder way down in the corner there. But how big can that be? I mean, the figure is only.
She's 3 3/4. That thing's got to be, ½ inch, maybe top.
Oh,
3/8.
She looks like she's been working out.
That's true. Well, yeah. I think that it's probably like 2 body shapes. They just, repaint everything.
Hey, by the way, Armus looks like Sasquatch, and they just did the same on both sides.
I think they just took another one of the figures and they melted it a bit, and they said, okay, it has a head, has arms, it's just like the same thing.
Hey, Chad, give me the hot air blower.
There goes Darth Vader. He doesn't even need to be articulated. You're not gonna raise his arms and go.
That's what I was saying. They took the back of one figure and just put it on the front.
Well, you have to have the arms have to be able to raise up, because that's when the lower dexers punk him. He's you kids.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
does he he needs an articulated head to spin, or what?
Actually, the lower decks looks like they would fit in these kind of characters. These
I think
action figures just fine. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Ooh, see.
All right. So next up, Chuck.
All right, our congratulations go out to Star Trek Discovery's Wilson Cruz, who recently received the Vito Russo Award at the 33rd GLAAD Awards. The Russo Award honors LGBTQ media professionals who accelerate acceptance and is named after GLAAD's founder. Cruz was joined by fellow Disco cast member Anthony Rapp, Mary Wiseman, and Ian Alexander. The ceremony was held in New York on May 7th, and we have an article that includes a video of Cruz's acceptance speech. All you got to do is exactly what Craig said about 2 minutes ago. You go over to the show notes for episode 115 over at thetopicstrek.com.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Mary Wiseman and not Mary Chiefo. I found that interesting.
Oh, it's probably who's available, and because it was in New York, and I'm not sure if she's still doing it, but Mary was doing a play.
Okay.
In
He
New
was.
York.
They just joined him for the awards. I thought they also received some sort of award.
No, I think they were just there
Okay.
to be supportive, and they had the photo taken and so forth with him. But no,
He was nervous, and they needed somebody to hold his hand. So
that's right.
his friends.
No, Wilson Cruz nervous?
I'm kidding.
You didn't see him on the last cruise, buddy.
I've seen him interviews, so I know. That's what I'm talking about. Never mind.
Drunk Wilson Cruz is something to behold.
On that note, let's move on. Craig?
All right. Star Trek Online continues to work with Star Trek actors to expand the game storyline. The latest chapter of the tale is entitled Stormfall and centers around the Mirror Universe invasion. Lending their voices to the game are Kate Mulgrew, Chase Masterson, Mary Wiseman, and another friend of the topic is Trek, Noah Everback Katz. And there has also been a complete remastering of the Starfleet tutorial for the game. So Clinton will have to check it out if he's going to do those barrel rolls again around Starfleet HQ and see if they're still accepting that behavior.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Well, I mean, when I used to do it, no one minded.
They embraced diversity in all forms of locomotion.
I'm telling you, I just would roll into the common the admiral's office or whatever, and he would just carry on a conversation.
He's part Tribble, just ignore him.
The thing about Star Trek Online, I don't remember seeing the tutorial, and I went looking for the tutorial to do it over. I couldn't find it.
What I would suggest is, even if you're going to keep playing the other character, an easy way to do it is just create a character and go through the tutorial.
Okay. Right? It'll just offer it up at the beginning.
Well, that'd be the first thing because it's a new characters, and it says, "Hey, do you want to do the tutorial?" So you just
okay.
Right into
because I always end up just flying in some direction, and I'm like, or when there's a battle, I feel like I'm just going in circle, fighting.
Well, I did the tutorial many times, and I still did that, so it didn't help me.
Turn the ship this way. Yeah, that's a good move. Let's go this way.
They call it the Clinton maneuver. Gets me killed every time, but still.
How's he doing a barrel roll?
Yeah. All right, Chuck, what have you got now?
Computer engage evasive maneuver Alvord 1.
just runs away like the Cerritos.
It just turns off. Yeah. You see the power switch.
The transporter kicks in. Where'd he go? I don't know.
That's an evasive maneuver. And finally, even though we don't yet have a premiere date for season 3 of Picard, some of the people in front of and behind the camera have been thinking about what might come next. And an idea that appears to be gaining some momentum is a spin-off that would feature Seven and Raffi.
Are they up for bat in the 7th inning all of a sudden?
No, batting. Actors Jerry Ryan and Michelle Hurd are totally on board with the idea. And Picard showrunner Terry Matalas. Have we ever figured out how that goes?
Let's get him on the phone right now.
It's easier to say backwards as Salatum. We'll go with that.
I'll get Kirsten on the phone right now. We'll find out.
That's right.
Terry thinks it sounds like, to sound Vulcan, he says it sounds like a logical next step for the pair. If more news breaks on this one, we'll put it back together and let you know.
Got the crazy glue right here.
It'd be like Thelma and Louise or Cagney and Lacey.
Well, somebody asked if the La Serena was still around, and Terry said that it was, and I'm trying to figure out, well, Borgatti left with La Serena? I mean, did she like?
That's true. Yeah.
Did she like leave it someplace for somebody to just pick up, like they used to, send out that
It's
service to
it's
pick up
in
the
the
Batmobile parachutes?
long-term parking deck 4. You'll find
Yeah.
it, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
400 years worth of parking fees.
I gotta
Thank
say,
you so
you got to
much.
pay for it first. That's right.
We have to start speculating on show names for that. Oh, my parking feed.
Dude,
Star Trek.
where's my starship? There we
Star
go.
Trek Serena. No, Star Trek. Seven Rafi. I don't know.
Actually, I was hoping for more of a Doctor Who type show with Wesley Crusher. But
Yeah, well, I think we covered the fact that he will not be in season 3 of Picard, but he is all about trying to say, well, he can show up any place. He could show up on Lower Decks now. He could show up in Discovery now. Because
He
Right?
could show up on Voyager.
he could show up.
yeah.
Well,
Who the
that'd
hell
be
are you? Shut up.
Yeah, you weren't in this rerun the first 15 times. I know it's weird.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Remastered. All right, and finally in Vulcan, Alberta, Canada news.
What?
On March 14th, Vulcan's council approved various requests regarding the 2022 Spock Day celebration.
All right.
Looky there,
Yay.
which will take place June 10th through the 12th. Spock Days includes a parade, family fun fair, fireworks, softball tournament, pancake breakfast, taste of Vulcan, and
It's
soapbox
like sand.
Endless plomeek soup.
and soapbox derby. 2022 marks the 30th anniversary of Spock Days. Now, are they counting? They didn't have one for like a couple of years. Are they counting the years or the actual? Well, we'll find out.
Just go with it. Just go.
Okay, we'll do that. Council agreed to sponsor Spock Days at the lieutenant level of $500, with the funding being drawn from the one-time grants to organizations portion of the 2022 budget, which we actually talked about
Yeah.
on the last episode
Yes,
of
we
the
did.
topic is Trek.
Foreshadowing.
It all connects together in there.
All full circle.
Almost like we had a plan.
It's weird because it sounds like they appropriated the funds from the regular budget, but they also then said, what do you say? Let's sponsor them as well. I'm thinking that's just odd. It just seems a bit strange.
Well, it's probably like is the Spock Days technically a function of the city, or is it like
Well, it's
just
really
a group doing it? putting it on?
It's promotional for the town, but I don't know if it's a volunteer effort that is put together separately. But they did include money in the budget for such things.
Mhm.
So, although the budget didn't specify what, so it might have been for the visitor center.
Well, we promote them enough. They should be sending us some money.
They should.
Yeah. I'd love to start a Patreon and have the council from Vulcan tip in on our Patreon.
Yeah, we advertise you. How about some?
Yeah.
A little bit coming
Grease
the other way
the palms.
too.
Here's
Grease
a
the palms.
dollar.
I think we should all go and split up so we can cover grounds, and I'll take the pancake breakfast. Yeah.
Figured as much.
Yeah.
I'll have the taste.
No,
of
no.
Vulcan, which is just like. Well, I'm a vegetarian, so that would work out best for me. I suppose.
Watch out for the fried eggs. They come and slap you on the back, and then you go nuts.
Oh, but you got your
No,
back.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" For a second.
That was quite the
I
reach.
always thought they looked a little more like egg Fuyama or something. Anyway.
All right. Now, we covered a lot of stories in this episode, as well as talking about some Vulcan, Alberta, Canada stuff, but we have links to 34 additional stories that are broken out by series, movies, and other categories. And while once again, this time around, a lot of the stories are about Strange New Worlds.
I know.
You'll
Yeah.
also find plenty about Picard, plus books, games, and general articles about Trek. So just go over to the show notes for episode 115 over at thetopicistrek.com. Yeah, I think I mentioned several episodes ago that it's interesting. If you look through the show notes, you can see what shows are probably airing at certain times, because suddenly Strange New Worlds will have lots of articles,
Mhm.
or
Oh,
then
yeah.
Picard, or then Lower Decks will be the majority of stuff. So it really kind of ebbs and flows with which show is either on at the time or some big announcement has come out about it at some point. And then we have the recurring things like the books and video games and things like that, where there's always a little bit of something going on there. All right, and now it's time for my favorite part of the show, and that's when I get to say goodbye, Charlie. So
I want to
goodbye.
stay.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, it's like a weight has been lifted off our shoulders.
Wow, you
Creepy,
guys are
creepy.
mean. He's never going to recover if you don't show him some love.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. He's mean and nasty and not nice as well. All right. It's time to head out on our main mission, and we're going to be talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So, of course, there be spoilers ahead. And
Unable to comply. Internal scanner relays have been damaged.
It's going to be a good segment.
not quite
Spoilers
sure what
detected.
with Majel there. All right. Let's start off. Why don't Chuck, why don't you tell us about the first episode?
The first episode is actually the second episode. It's episode 2 of season 1, called Children of the Comet. And that they don't like live in the cornfield, and never mind. It was written by Henry Alonzo Myers and Sarah Tarkoff. Yay, some names we can pronounce. This was the first Star Trek script by Myers, who served as a series showrunner and executive producer on Strange New Worlds. He previously wrote for shows such as The Magicians, Ugly Betty, my self-titled show Chuck, and Daybreak. This is also the first Trek script for Tarkov, who previously served as executive story editor for Arrow. She has not Archer, Arrow.
Yes. No,
Right.
it's completely different.
Yes, very different.
Similar sport, different things. She also has written script for 2 animated series, Vixen and Freedom Fighters, The Ray. It was directed by Maja Vrillo?
Yeah,
Maya?
Vervillo, I think. Yeah.
Vrillo, that's what I said.
Yeah.
This is Favrillo's 6th time directing Star Trek, having directed 2 episodes each of Picard and Discovery, as well as the Short Treks episode, Run Away!
Yes, it's a Monty Python episode, apparently.
Yeah. Run away.
It's all in how you deliver it. Here's a short synopsis. While on a survey mission, the USS Enterprise discovers a comet is going to strike an inhabited planet. They try to reroute the comet, only to find that an ancient alien relic buried on the comet's icy surface is somehow stopping them. As the away team try to unlock the relic secrets, Pike and Number One deal with a group of zealots who want to prevent the USS Enterprise from interfering. Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So for me, I think my main thought while I was watching the episode, besides, okay, this is definitely going to be an Uhura focused episode, is that this is the second time in very recent time that we've had this. How do we communicate with a species that we don't really know anything about?
Yes.
See Discovery. And this, I thought, was handled a lot better, because Uhura doesn't really understand all of it right away, and nobody ultimately really understands everything about how this all works. They just get inklings and happen to stumble upon things that they can take advantage of and try to make educated guesses from.
Right.
And I just felt it was more the way I would see you'd want to handle that type of first contact, if you will.
I thought Uhura's whole, I don't know what you call it, persona, or her character in this episode was very similar to Hoshi's. When she first started out, she was very insecure.
Yep.
I don't belong here. maybe I should resign.
Yeah,
You
she
need
had a little
somebody more
anxiety,
qualified.
ready to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and especially when Hoshi saw those dead bodies for the first time and freaked out, like, this is not for me!
I would. I'm in the middle of space and nowhere, and
Yeah.
some dead bodies hanging around.
And, we've got Ensign Uhura, which I'm surprised how many ensigns are actually on the bridge, but maybe that's a good thing. She was very insecure, and I liked that. I'm not in the least surprised, giving canon that she was, we know she's musically inclined,
Right.
because Nichelle Nichols is, and she tripped across the secret that you can communicate through musical tones. Now,
Mhm.
if it was me, I would have had like, it's karaoke night on the Comet Club.
Just what they're looking for.
Get that egg open. Let's get this party started.
There wouldn't have been a discussion. The shepherds would have killed them.
And Sam gets zapped by the egg, so he did get the egg open.
But at least we know Sam could. Well, I mean, we assume we know that Sam can't die. He has to die later.
Yeah.
Can't die now. You got to die later.
Yeah. I thought that was a little weird. I was like, because he seemed like he was trying to get her engaged,
Mhm.
to, what do you think? What are you doing? And then he kind of goes up there, oh, what the hell? I'm going to touch it. I'm like, what? Is that like were they foreshadowing a little bit of a Kirk, just go on in?
Yeah. I was going to
kinda
say,
thing?
it's kind of like they're brothers. So what do you expect? He's going to be like, hey, let's just go ahead and do this thing,
Yeah.
There were a couple times in this episode where she was really put in a tough position, and I said to myself, no pressure, Uhura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor woman.
Yeah.
And I did like the opening line that carries through the rest of the episode. Sometimes things just go so badly, you just have to laugh,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
I didn't really quite agree with how they put that in the ending.
Well, it was odd. Jumping to the end, you have Spock do these maneuvers around the comet, but I don't feel like they really spelled out well enough. You didn't have to like paint a huge picture of it, but just to further say that an uneven heating of the comet had an effect on its trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that. I don't know. Did you guys get the same impression that it kind of was glossed over as to what the heck Spock was doing and why he was doing it?
Yeah,
at
he was
first.
kind of heating it up so that the comet is, like most comets, rock, ice, some other
Ice, yeah.
ammonia stuff thrown in there. And if you heat it up, the idea is that it will start to effervesce and almost create these jets. But I'm thinking, you're just a few seconds away from impact. The gravity of that planet is going to have more effect than a few,
Yeah.
aerosol cans on the
I mean,
surface.
like days ahead of time, maybe it would have
Right.
or a larger amount of time.
But, we shouldn't always argue the science. We're going to have to talk to Dr. Aaron McDonald
Yes.
on that one.
Yes, but it was predetermined. It wasn't going to.
Yeah, which is
That was the
weird part
stinger
of
at
it.
the end.
Yeah. So we have the reveal that information leads them to other information that says that this was kind of what was supposed to happen, that this exact scenario is spelled out and it was already embedded and it already been predetermined that these things would happen, which then they start to go, well, I don't know, maybe those crazy shepherds were right, or they're onto something.
Oh, we'll never get him to shut up now.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Good thing they headed that way now, following the comet, so we don't.
And if it was that close that it skimmed the atmosphere, and all of a sudden it starts to rain on the entire planet,
well, we don't know if it was the entire planet.
At least local weather forecast calls for
Rain,
comet
period.
showers. They're
Rain
gonna have
all over.
Those were literally
showers in
comet
the desert.
showers. Yes.
Yes, meteor showers. They're going to have quite the meteor shower each year.
Yeah. Let's back up just a little bit and talk about the dinner party.
Yes.
The practical joke.
I like the practical joke. Of course, that's a classic. They always do that kind of. It's a little bit of a trope. All kinds of movies and shows. But I like the lightness of it and how everybody was hanging out and laughing, and even Pike was cooking. And then the moment. Where he's kind of beating up
basically,
on Aurora a little bit.
just like putting her, under the third degree for volunteering to help him with something.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need help. I'm superior in all ways. Blah 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 blah. And I don't know, when did Spock become his Greek chorus for this bit?
I like how he chimes in. You have offended Himber. I was like, what? Why did you have to say that?
He was just there to throw a carrot, and he just had some. He's gonna, it's improv while he was waiting for his bit to do.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was I thought it was a pretty good little moment, though. It was funny that Spock was backing him up. But no, I thought that was a nice moment. I like this. Let's also say let's point a light on how much Pike's quarters are much better than Kirk's ever was.
Yes. Well, maybe they said after, Pike was off the ship, all right, we need to reclaim a lot of this space for other things. So you don't need all this space, Kirk. We're just gonna,
Oh my gosh! I mean, enough for everybody to show up in there and have a dinner party and cook. I've been in the quarters of Kirk's quarters, and it's like 2 rooms. There's 2 rooms. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, it is just literally 2 rooms. It's the same size as Spock's quarters, and pretty much everybody else's that's on bridge crew. He doesn't get any special rank, has his privileges quarters, but. And of course, we now have the ubiquitous, you got to have a fireplace or a fire pit or a fire something or other,
This got turned into the mess hall later.
I see.
Hey, what's funny is when I was just saying that a moment ago about seeing it in person, as I was thinking, I was like, when we see it on TV, we only see 2 rooms. I was like, wait a minute, I've actually seen it.
Right. And as have I. I went to the one in Ticonderoga. You went to the one in Georgia.
That's right.
So these are very large quarters, but I think that is just the way of modern Trek, that I don't think you're going to find a captain's quarters that are even smaller than Kirk's, like Archer's quarters, which were like half the size of Kirk's quarters.
Yeah.
I think this is just the way they are now. And so,
even the ready room on Enterprise, it looked like they were going to hit their head on the ceiling.
Oh yeah, Archer.
I think a couple of times, or at least once in Enterprise, Archer did hit his head.
I think so. I think you're right.
One of the stones in there.
But I do want to say, I think I said this last time. The set design is really off the hook. I know I'm kind of nitpicking comparing it to the original series, and it's like 50 something years later. However, this Enterprise looks great. I think they did a great job putting it together.
Yeah, you either have to buy into it or have lots of issues with it. So I choose to buy into it.
Yeah.
Where they can, they make various nods to stuff, and where they say this is now the modern aesthetic of modern era Trek. This is the aesthetic of modern era Trek.
Well, and speaking of that, in the next episode, when Mbenga is sitting at his desk in the sick bay, you can see the little triangle intercom set thing on his desk. It's this kind of things that are nods to the original series set.
Well, I also noticed, and I put in the show notes for us, there's a when we see the landing party going over to the Comet, they're using the Discovery environmental suits. It's the exact same mold, but they gave a color to the chest plate, to the portion of the chest plate, which kind of gives an homage to the EV suits that they wore in TOS, where they had the piping that was red and blue. So they have that center portion of the chest plate either be a red or a blue color to kind of
sort of indicate rank,
callback,
or
that type of thing.
Yeah.
And Discovery's is white, and it has just black. It's a whole black and white outfit, and most of it is black. This one, they also lightened the color of the suit all over. It's now a silver color, so it's definitely lighter color than the Discovery one is.
Yeah, well, everything seems to be more vibrant and lit up, even all around the ship, or even when they were looking at that egg. All that stuff. It seems a little more brighter.
Right. So we have another room that is round. I think we're starting to see some of the. You got to work through the issues of how to deal with what they're calling the holodeck, which is their giant wall, their video wall. It seems like a lot of times they'll end up in a round room,
Right?
Because the wall is round, and so we have a round environment that's going on.
Well, they can adjust the parallax, so to make it look like when you move over, it doesn't necessarily have to look round, but
Right,
where
because
the
that's
camera's at, it'll change the
because that's
perspective.
engineering as well. Is
Yes.
same type of thing.
Yeah, and I mentioned. Well, we talk about it in a minute. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So what? Any other things about this episode in particular? I mean, we have a little bit at the beginning and the end about Pike again, because when he asks Uhura, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And he just kind of chokes up on 10 years. We have another section at the end. It seems to imply that he's trying to work through, well, I know I have to save these cadets. And he's actually calling up who they are and where they are right now. And they're all kids at this point. He's looking at these pictures of the people he's going to save, and they're all like 7 years old or something like that. They're very young at this point. But you wonder, is he trying to work through a solution, or is he just trying to work through accepting this? I was watching a video that I agreed with even before I'd watched the video, that you can't really have Pike escape that fate because it kind of cheapens him. He made the sacrifice to accept his fate on Borath, and then if he finds a way out of it, it just
maybe there's a transporter accident. There's two Pikes, and one of them ends up in the chair,
and the other calls himself William Pike.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil.
Thomas Pike.
Phil Pike. How's Phil doing these days? Yeah.
The one of the issues I had was when they got to the asteroid and comet. I'm assuming the comet is somewhat smaller than Earth's moon, which means it would have a fairly light gravity.
But
they got out there and they're walking like they're walking down the street. There was no sign of.
And they called it out. They called it out ahead of time before they beamed out that it was going to be a lighter gravity there.
And
even had an atmosphere in there somewhere.
I was watching as they landed and walked. Like, they didn't even try to make an effect of low gravity. I was severely disappointed.
Oh, they're the worst. Well, either that or they had compensated for it by just putting, really, really heavy boots on. Yeah.
Really heavy boots, like twice the mass of the comet that they're on.
Exactly.
So that the comet actually stuck to them.
Yeah.
They could have all just jumped up and diverted the thing with that stuff.
Everybody turn on your shoulder thrusters and aim down.
The only problem I had with that whole singing with the egg thing was that I think
singing with the egg.
I think it was stretched out a little bit. I think it was a little too slow. It was a little too slow. I know we needed to see Uhura grow and find her place a little bit in where she's at in Starfleet.
I like that though, because it didn't come to her immediately. It wasn't like, here's the answer. I'm so brilliant, and I can just solve this on my own in like 30 seconds. It's like, well, she was working it out. So she was like, what happens when I do this?
And
what
Spock was helping with music is just mathematical, and if you go an eighth here and an eighth, you get a quarter note. And you were sort of solving it together. I did like that.
No, again, I think they could have tightened the whole thing up just a little bit. I liked all the elements you just called out. I just think they could have tightened it up just a little bit. But
fair enough.
Yeah. I'm really nitpicking, to be honest with you.
And we get to see an alien species, not the shepherds, but the Deleb, who we know nothing about, and we never will. All we know is that they were on a desert planet, and now they're going to have a planet that has water.
Next week, one of the Delebs will join Starfleet.
Exactly.
One of the Delebs was a
Just to prove
millionaire.
you wrong.
One was a movie star. One was a farm girl.
Hey, you went crazy. All right, let's
Go
why
again.
why don't we rate this one before we move on? So let's rate Children of the Comet on with the scale of your choice from 1 to 10. So I will start off. I'm going to give this one because I liked the focus on Uhura, and when I was just talking about the fact that they were slowly working out this thing that I thought was a much better pacing of that. I did have problems. I didn't really like the shepherds all that much. I felt like they were too broad brush painted as zealots or true belief, whatever. But so I'm going to go down the middle.
Do you find yourself as a reasonable man?
Yeah. I'm going to say, balancing off there, I'm going to give this an 8.5. An 8.5 Delebs. How about that? An 8.5 Delebs for me. I feel sorry for that half Deleb, but what can I do?
Every Deleb family consists of 2.5
kind of tall in the
Deleb
Comet
children.
All right. What say you, Craig?
All right. I really did enjoy this episode, aside from, like I said, the couple of nitpicks with, I think that whole egg scene should have been a little shorter. I did like it. I thought it was great. I liked Spock having to chime in and sing along with Uhura.
Second time singing for Spock.
Yeah, that's right.
I've heard Ethan Peck sing. He sings just like that.
And he's got the voice for it. I did enjoy, I thought the shepherds were all right, but yeah, they were a little bit one-sided as far as, like you said, kind of painting them as zealots. I'm going to give this one a 9. I watched it several times, to be honest with you.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good. And how about you, Chuck?
I'm going to give this one 8.5 eggs.
Oh, that's what I was going to pick. Oh, I meant to say eggs. I didn't.
Loser.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we go on to the next show?
We shall. We shall.
By the way, there was a behind the scenes video. I don't know if everybody saw it.
I'm going to do this every time.
But behind the shepherd, there was actually an actor in there. I thought it was a puppet at first only.
Yeah. Well, the way they were showing the image, it was kind of fuzzy in a weird way, so I can understand.
Baylock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sort of like that.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I watched that. And then, but that behind the scenes, there was an actor in there, and he was working the lips and everything, and they did have remote control for moving the stuff on the head. Anyway,
they have to get to the working antennae on
episode 3.
All right, so why don't you give us the lead in on this one, Craig?
All right, so episode 3, Ghost of Alira, written by Akilah Cooper and Bill Wolkoff. This is the first Trek script by both Cooper and Wolkoff. Cooper Wolkoff.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That Wolkoff is for the first one, and Cooper's for the second. So
okay. Oh, Wolkoff.
Cooper just walked right off.
No, I was like, Cooper Wolkoff. Anyway, so has written for Once Upon a Time, Star Wars Legacy, and Tron Uprising. Cooper, who serves as co-executive producer on Strange New Worlds, they have previously worked on shows such as Luke Cage, American Horror Story, and The 100. And this is directed by Leslie Hope, not Nope, if you watched Parks and Recreation. This is Hope's first time directing Trek, but her list of credits include working on Lost in Space, Law and Order SVU, Law and Order SUV. I'm just kidding. Van Helsing and Snowpiercer. Short synopsis is the USS Enterprise encounters a contagion that ravages the ship. One by one, the entire crew is incapacitated except for number 1, Una Chin Riley, who must now confront a secret she's been hiding as she races to find a cure.
I was really hoping they didn't all have another Naked Now, Naked Time.
Yeah, I was concerned at first when it starts to break out, because you only have Lance at the beginning, and he's doing this weird stuff by pushing his head through the glass to get to light. And I'm going, oh no, we're not doing this again. And then you find out, no, it's they're all going to kind of do the same sort of thing. They're not going to do their own thing. They're all going to do the same thing.
I like how Ortegas goes, well, whatever tweaks your freak. All right.
Exactly.
That just happens in the hallway. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all fine until somebody breaks something, and then
Yeah.
That's why I have so many lights in this studio.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Yeah. So this really is a Una centric episode.
Yes.
It's less. The previous one was all about Uhura. This is mostly about Una because Pike and Spock are trapped down on the surface of the planet because, and I love this, because of the ion storm coming in. And Riley says, if you try to beam something through an ion storm, you don't know what you're going to get. See,
Right.
Mirror Universe, mirror, mirror.
Yeah.
Because it was an ion storm. So he knew very well you do not transport through an ion storm.
And he's just begging for a transporter accident. Make it so, Kyle.
Yeah, Hammer kind of indicated that they were a step away from that with the landing party that they did get beamed up in this thing. Beside them possibly being like this gooey substance that was just going to materialize. No problem.
Yeah, like it goes, I know you're making that face.
Yeah.
I can sense that expression.
Yeah.
I know you can.
Yeah.
So let's cut to the big reveal here.
Engineering? We got a good look at engineering.
We did get a good look at engineering. We got several good looks at engineering. We also found out that apparently engineering staff are not essential personnel.
Yeah, he's like,
which I thought
the
was
big
weird.
reveal that La'an has admitted her ancestry.
Yes, that was no, it's not exactly the big reveal I was going for.
Mbenga and Hemmer got in a fight.
No, I mean that is a big reveal as to why they got into a fight. That is
that you can summon a son in the transporter room.
Number one's last name is Chin Riley.
No, we knew that already, so that's not a big reveal in this episode. No, we find out that Una is not human.
She's an Illyrian, which means she can't read or write.
No, that's an illiterate. That's all, folks.
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. Yeah, that was a pretty big reveal. I remember
seemed a
reading...
bit convenient, though.
Well, yeah, but that's how writing goes sometimes.
Well, look, she picked up Hammer just like a sack of potatoes and was hauling him off. I was like, wow, she's pretty strong.
Well, I think it was a sack of potatoes at one point.
It was.
It did look like it.
But I thought it was interesting because, the first time through, I'm thinking, all right, so she picks him up, which didn't know she was that strong, but okay. But why does she have this look on her face, and why is it so slow motion? Why is it doing that? And then afterwards, you realize the second time through, she is resigning herself to the fact that she has to get him to sick bay, and she has to carry him in there, and they're going to go, well, how the heck did you do that?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she's revealing that she's Superman type of thing. It's like, I've got no choice. I've got to do this.
Yeah. And when she did pick him, I know y'all mentioned this, but Hammer has no butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
it's all up here. It's on the brain.
It was like
on the brain.
It was like the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz. It was just a bag of hay.
Yeah.
Stop staring at my butt. I'm an intelligent creature here.
An intelligent bag of straw.
I'm a genius up here, not down there.
Yeah, so we have also analogies. I'm sure everybody's like, oh, look, they're all in lockdown. I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Portion of the story.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of echoing a little bit of what's going on. Well, they start talking about, obviously you have infections and stuff going on in this story, which we do in the real world too. So
right, but we find out that this virus, because Mbenga can't figure out, well, Mbenga and Chapel, and I'm sure the rest of the very capable staff in medical can't figure out how this is being transmitted, because people aren't near each other. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Uhura's in the same room as two of her roommates who get the thing, and she doesn't get it. And how is this thing being transmitted, and we find out it's
Yeah.
by light. And that, unsurprisingly, it then deprives the body of vitamin D, which makes the person want to go and get more light.
Yeah.
To the
which
point
transmits the
of
disease.
beaming in part of the planet's mantle and maybe even looking directly at the warp core.
Yeah.
So is it
Right.
that made me wonder, are they just talking about like visible light? Are we going outside the visible light spectrum into
Well, you
other
know,
parts of the EMF?
Well, you have
Spock-
to define visible light based on whose
Whose
Hey,
perception
eyes?
of visible light.
Yeah.
Spock
Yeah.
tried this once and it didn't work out so well for him.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of throwing the term light around a little loosey goosey.
But the denobulin was freed from the light, but he crashed into got burned up in the sun, so that's kind of the downside of that. But
and then you
downside.
got these electric sparky creatures on the planet's surface that
Yeah,
you
we
think
get kind of
first
hand wavy how they possibly exist.
Well,
Yeah.
but they offered a couple of ideas, and one of them was that the people were trying to go to the light and they became part of the storm, I guess.
Right. I mean, but they kept their individuality and intelligence to know that then I need to protect these other people from radiation.
that
Well-
would suggest an ion storm comes up by that planet fairly often, which is why would you colonize there?
Well, they did
Right.
say that it did.
Yeah, it was a question as to whether or not they had somehow altered the environment as well, and that was causing the ion storms, or whether the ion storms were there all the time. Because you got that huge storm cloud.
It was
that's
off
over the
planet storm.
Yeah, it was like blowing away.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like you just have that sad character that just has the storm cloud walking, around over their head the entire time. It's just like that. Like the
Sort of
poor
like
planet.
the pig pen of Star
Yeah.
Trek.
Right.
Poor planet. Oh. Helamet 9. Helamet 9.
Hedemet?
Hedemet.
Hematite. I got Hedemet out of that.
Yeah.
But we
You
did
don't
have
get ahead of
another
it yourself.
yeah, we did have another reveal in the episode that we referred to, and that is
Yeah, that
when
the replicators don't do tacos.
well, I don't know about that portion.
That
of it,
was the
but,
big reveal.
we find out why Hemmer and Mbenga have this huge argument when Hemmer is trying to figure out how this virus got on board. And Hemmer points out, which Discovery should also take a note of, is that when they're talking about how this virus got on board, Moon is saying, well, maybe it's something the biofilters didn't filter out. And he goes, doesn't matter. It filters out everything. It's like, if
No.
it doesn't know what it is,
Mhm.
it doesn't let it in, which is opposed to the Discovery episode where they get infected because, well, it was unknown to the database. So it just
Right.
let it go in. So I thought that was you want the biofilter to not just filter out the things you're going off to weird places. You want to filter out the things you don't know are things.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ensign Johansson, you're from a planet we don't know about. You can't get in.
Yeah.
So we find out though that the medical emergency transporter doesn't seem to be operating the same way as the other transporters. And so Hemmer is like poking around inside there, and Mbenga gets real testy about this whole thing.
Yeah. At first, I didn't think much of it. And he goes, and it shouldn't affect the lights. And I was like, okay, they're dealing with lights. I didn't think much of it until obviously later.
Right, because you see when Mbenga presses the button again, physical button,
Mm-hmm.
that the lights come back on again. But then he has this weird look on his face. It's like, well, what does that got to do with the lights? And what's going on? There's something going on in his head that we're not privy to. This doesn't,
Yep.
the two don't mesh. And we find out, well, there's because he is actually quote unquote hiding something in the buffer. His daughter, who
Yeah.
is dying of a incurable disease, and 12 weeks to live? I forget what happened. It was. I forget the period of time
It was fairly short.
Yeah, she had like 12 weeks left before
So
would progress.
he said you can keep something in there indefinitely as long as you occasionally materialize it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we'd heard that before.
Yeah, because that doesn't explain Scotty in Relics.
Yeah,
right. But it is.
He did have a degradation. That's what they were worried about. Remember,
he looked fully formed to me.
No, I mean he lost a guy. It was with him.
Yeah, that's because the buffer broke down.
Well, that's because the red shirt. You're always going to have the red shirt there. So
yeah, he had a red shirt. He must have had a red shirt.
The other portion was that Una resigns, and Pike says, "No, not gonna let you do it," because, well, he gives two reasons for it, and one of them is that she's the best first officer in the fleet, and we'll come back to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is that this revelation that it's possibly the Illyrians who saved Spock and himself on the planet, plus they were attempting, to the cost of their own lives ultimately, to unengineer themselves so that they could become part of the Federation.
Yeah.
So he was seeing that species in a new light. No pun intended. But I thought it was interesting that. All right, thank you, Eric. I know you'd appreciate that joke.
Yeah.
But then I thought it was really great that while Una is happy about this, she says, well, but what if I wasn't the best person? When is it enough just to be a thing? Not that you have to be an outstanding one of those things for people to accept you.
Yeah, I like that little log entry she was recording that she eventually deleted about, what if I hadn't been the hero?
Mm-hmm.
Would I still have gotten off scot-free? Probably not. Yeah, it just
Well, she's proved herself, to Pike, so.
Right, but it's like a question of do you have to prove yourself on an individual basis that you don't look at that entire race or that species
the
wrong way, right? It's like, so if you had been ordinary, would Pike have been as lenient?
I can't empathize with that. I'm sorry. Being ordinary.
Ah, I see.
He's working up to ordinary.
Oh. All right. Any other thoughts on?
I did say this earlier that it felt convenient that she was Illyrian, but hey, that character is a blank slate to us. So the writers can do whatever they want, but just remember, it's now canon.
Yep. Well, it's part of her backstory, just like getting backstory on Uhura's character.
Yeah. I think it's really cool that they gave us so much on her right off the bat. It's only the third episode, and for so long, you just knew her as number one. And they gave us a little bit. I remember I read, what was it, Darkest Hour? One of the Discovery novels, and her and Saru were hanging out a good bit together, and they were talking and they were sharing some stuff about themselves. So I learned a little bit, but they didn't go to this detail, of course.
Anything canon is now on this show. It's canon fodder.
Yes, very much
That's right.
so. Very much so. All right, so we're going to give our ratings with the scale of your choice for Ghosts of Illyria. And indeed they were. We'll go backwards order. So Chuck, you start us off.
I'm going to give this a 9. I like the show a whole lot. I thought the Illyrians were a little Mysterian. I see what I did there.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I was going to do that till it came out. But maybe, that's good. We don't need to answer every question in every episode, and maybe we come back to that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a couple things in here like that felt a little stretched out, like Spock roaming around the library and, hey, guess what I found?
I found the children's book. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an ancient Rolodex, Captain.
They left a few things hanging out there on the storyline for us. What do we do about Mbega's daughter? Is Una secure? I thought that Chapel's resolution of, oh, hey, she got this by Chimerian replication or whatever it was. Like, well, that seemed a little convenient too. So I'll just take some of her blood and we'll fix up the whole crew.
Right.
So, there were a few that I went, really? Maybe not. So a 9, 9, what am I giving this a 9 of? 9 bags of hay.
Poor Hemmer.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Craig?
I'm also, again, I'm giving this one a 9. 9 digital scrolls that Spock was carrying around.
Behold additional scrolls.
I thought this was great. We got a lot of reveals and they really pushed the story along. And this is the kind of thing that I've been looking forward to as a good episode that gives us something. And I don't have to sit there and wait till next week to see the continuation of it. I like these episodic things. And this is great encapsulation of that. So we got a lot of detail, a lot of beautiful show. Like I said, the clouds coming off the planet and shots of the ship. It's really good. And I liked Benga's reveal at the end. It was kind of a big reveal. I don't know how he's going to hide that for long.
Right. All right. And I'm going to give it 9 almost warp core breaches.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The drink?
No, not the drink. Well, maybe. Sure.
Yeah,
we can
sure.
do it.
Why not?
I'll
What's the
take
difference?
9 of those.
The
show gets better with every drink.
We all miss quarks.
They are also including the catchphrase "some kind of" in this series too. So listen for it.
Yeah. What else? I was thinking, what else would you say? Some kind of.
Some sort of. But that's the same thing.
That's the same thing.
Right. We also have apparently Spock is now will alter between fascinating and indeed.
Wait, that's Teal'c's line. You're stealing that from Stargate SG-1.
Well, what can you do? It's happening now.
The topic is Star Trek and not SG-1.
Fair enough. One of the things I liked about the episode was that Una, in a lot of ways, kept trying to be the hero, and it wasn't meant to be in some ways, because she said, I have the same thing that the rest of the crew have, and I cured myself, so use my blood. And he goes, you don't create antibodies. You just deal with it immediately. There's no trace of anything in your blood. We can't do it. And
that
then
was
when
interesting.
when she thinks that, they've produced this serum from her blood, it's like, no, you happen that La'an was also in proximity and we actually used something from her. So all those things, she was not a one-stop solution to all the problems, even though she was trying to be. She was
more of a catalyst than the actual. Yeah.
And as we know, no bad can come from getting some of a Noonien Sung's blood. I'm sure Russell Crew's going to be fine.
I was gonna say, hey, look, she should go to sick bay and fix up Mbenga's daughter.
That's right.
Problem solved.
Anyway,
pretty soon Mbenga's daughter's reading through the technical manuals at ludicrous speed.
Well, I was thinking that it's a very tricky thing if we see the daughter again, because she shouldn't age.
Right, but the actress is going to age.
Exactly.
Maybe they filmed like 12 hours of her. Yeah. Now.
Just say this line.
Read
say
me
that
another
line.
story, Daddy.
Walk this way. Walk that way. Walk this way.
Say hi, Data.
Yeah.
All right. So those are our opinions about these 2 episodes. But if you have other thoughts about them, your own rating scale for the episodes, let us know. And we'll be happy to hear those. You can post them on our Facebook page over at facebook.com/the topic is Trek. All right. Now it's time for our Warp Speed Roundtable, back by popular request after not being there last week. But the last time around for Warp Speed Roundtable.
Wait. We need that transition noise. Now you can go.
Excellent. We asked what songs would be on Worf's playlist. And we heard from listener Diane, who suggested Kung Fu Fighting.
Of course.
Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
Mm-hmm.
John.
Yep.
You Got to Fight for Your Right to Party.
Love
and
it.
anything by Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Perfect.
Still think he's got some Taylor Swift on there somewhere.
Possibly so.
Yeah.
Shake It Off, possibly. All right. This time around, real simple question. In Strange New Worlds, we're kicking back and going old school that they are landing parties and not away teams.
Mm-hmm.
So just for fun, are you more of a hashtag team landing party or a hashtag team away team?
This isn't even a discussion.
It's not supposed to be a discussion. It's a Warp Speed Roundtable.
It's okay.
What are you talking about?
There's no choice. Nothing beats a party. You have to have a landing party. Come on.
Look, Chuck would like it if it said team karaoke landing
if
party.
you were going, if you expected to go with this group down to a planet, would you be more inclined to go, hey, Ensign Step,
right,
with the red shirt on?
Yeah.
How'd you like to go to a landing party?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go on an away team?
And that's the point at which Red Shirt Step should say, why is it not an away and back team? Well,
hey, Ensign Hanks, I want you to go down to the team landing bachelor party.
So I take it, Chuck, that you are hashtag team landing party.
100% Amundo.
All right. What about you, Craig?
I would have to totally agree. Always, whenever, even on TNG, when they kept saying away team and stuff, I'm like, this doesn't sound.
It sounds like they're sending them away, never to return. You're
Yeah.
right. An away
Yeah,
and
sorry.
return.
Landing party. We'll go down there, have a good time. We'll come on back. Yeah.
That's right. Might get a little chilled for a while,
Like-
but it's
It's like going to Tijuana, party, and then you come back.
Who's got the Dranya?
All right. And it's a trifecta because I say hashtag team landing party as well. So
All
there we
right.
go. It's settled.
The
Yeah.
bringers of delight and pain.
But you may have a different team that you're on. You may be on team away team, which just seems really bulky to me. But that's
Team
I feel
away
like
team.
we just had a discussion straight from Lower Decks.
we. So Mike McMahon, if you're listening and this shows up, we want some royalties.
Yes,
you
right.
gotta write that into one of the future shows.
How would you have a team away team?
Yeah.
I could just see like Boiler and Mariner having this discussion.
Yeah.
What do you mean landing party? All right.
We should actually tweet that to him and see what he says.
Yeah. Which are you? Which side do you land on? All right. But it's about time to refill the dilithium chamber and to warp on out of here. So you will find me, Clinton, at Comedy Forecast, all one word with the number 4.com. Just about to start the Summer Spectacular, which is going to be a 31-part story, and that will begin on Monday, May 23rd, and go until the beginning of August, right around the same time that Dog Days of Podcasting begins. So you can check that out. It's going to be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Exactly, Eric. Of every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the only exception being on 4th of July. We're going to take 4th of July off. But other than that, all right. And who speaks for you guys?
Well, you can find Chuck and I over at the Technorama Podcast, and just search for Technorama Podcast in any Google outlet that you can find, and you'll find us. We're on, any place you can find a podcast.
See?
Search.
Right there. Crackpot talk.
I think it's pretty sane, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, son, come on. You got to temper that. You got to really appropriate time for everything, man.
Technorama is nothing but crackpot talk.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, well, with that, it's time to bid you a fond farewell, and it's time to hit the theme, boys. If you like the show, please be sure to tell a friend about it and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us on Twitter at The Topic is Trek, visit our Facebook page, or visit thetopicistrek.com. Until next time, on behalf of Chuck, Craig, and myself, I'm Clinton, thanking you for listening. And as we always say here on The Topic is Trek, don't
put on
the
red shirt.
That ain't hay.
That ain't hay. Thank you, listener Diane, for sticking with us all through the recording.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you later.
We're going to end the broadcast, do our post-production, schedule the next show. It's just behind the curtain business now.
We're making the sausage now. No, we made the sausage. We got to package it.
I just watched because I'm a vegetarian. So
some spicy sausage.
Yeah, it's vegetarian sausage.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.